The international NGO Greenpeace has totally rejected charges that have been made against it in a report to the government by the Intelligence Bureau, accusing the NGO of being a threat to India's economic security. The report in fact says that several foreign-funded NGOs are deliberately stalling development in India, but focuses mainly on Greenpeace and its role.
Foreign-funded NGOs are stalling India's development. A highly controversial report from the Intelligence Bureau submitted to the Prime Minister's office. Lashing out at a prominent NGO Greenpeace, the report calls it a threat to national economic security and accuses Greenpeace of contravening laws to change the dynamics of India's energy mix. The report also says Greenpeace funded sympathetic research and that it will next target India's IT sector over e-waste. The report also goes on to attack other NGOs funded by donors abroad who fund under the garb of charity for human issues, and says some NGOs are using people-centric issues to create an environment that stalls development projects, and that there has recently been a shift in the focus of these NGOs to encourage growth-retarding campaigns. In its defense, Greenpeace denies taking funds from foreign agencies.
We collect money from Indian individuals, Indian citizens. We do not take any money from corporates or from governments.
The 21-page report claims several projects in areas like mining and nuclear energy were stalled. SP Uday Kumar, who led the protests against Kudankulam nuclear plant, says it isn't the foreigners but the people of India who are challenging government's decisions.
And in that report, they have mentioned my name. I completely deny this.
Minister of State for Home Affairs neither denies nor confirms the contents of this report.
Which has not come to my notice or which has not been briefed to me, I cannot pass comment on that yet.
This report could be seen as an attempt to clamp down on some of the most vocal NGOs and activists, unless, of course, more evidence of this alleged negative impact is revealed. In New Delhi, with Nitin Gokhale and Madan Lal, Aanchal Vora, NDTV.
Well, is this report a realistic assessment of how NGOs work in India, particularly those that are foreign-funded, or is it a little alarmist? Abhishek Pratap, senior campaigner with Greenpeace, joins us. Sambit Patra, spokesperson of the BJP, here in the studio with us. We have Abhishek Singhvi and Surjit Bhalla still with us. We'll be joined by Medha Patkar shortly from Mumbai. Let me take this to Mr. Pratap first. Mr. Pratap, you can see that the criticism is largely directed against Greenpeace. Your organization has reacted very strongly to that. Why do you think Greenpeace in particular has been singled out?
Well, I would say that there is also an attempt to silence our voice. We are campaigning, opposing kind of a technology pursued in the GM crops, as well as on the nuclear energy, as well as on the coal-based. These are dirty technologies, problematic, out of date, and we are opposing on that. And for that, we are being singled out, targeted to silence our voice. This is not a new thing. It is coming from the last 2 years. If you remember, 2 years back, famous foreign hand statement was made
by the then Prime Minister.
Then
yes.
Prime Minister. And from that time, there was always a rumor that NGOs are halting the India's progress. We are questioning that. We are also concerned about the country's development. But what is the development? We are questioning the current model of growth.
So you're saying that by raising questions on things that may be going wrong, you're not halting development. Those are legitimate questions that you're raising, and your voice is being silenced, because that is a serious charge that you're making. Surjit Bhalla, if you could weigh in on this, because this whole debate between NGOs and versus India's development has been on for a while. There have also been serious concerns that there are actually many unaccounted for NGOs in this country. Very few of them actually file tax returns. We don't know what their funding is. So those legitimate concerns are also there. How do you look at this report by the Intelligence Bureau?
Well, first of all, I think, with this report, the Intelligence Bureau of India has put itself in a place to get the world's Nobel Prize for Economics, because what they are stating is that the 2.5% to 3% GDP growth rate that has declined in India is all entirely due to Greenpeace. I find, this is basically the IB, it seems like, is being the traditional IB that we've always had, which is most depressing. They are trying to state things that they think the master wants to hear, and the way they change chameleon-like from master to master is actually quite shocking. Second, that their accounting is about as bad as that of the CAG, and the way they concoct the numbers is really something that itself should be questioned rather than questioning Greenpeace. I think there's nothing wrong with what the Greenpeace advocates. They are just an advocacy group. They are lobbyists, just like we have other lobbyists and other lobbyist groups, including political parties. So to single them out for the decline in the growth rate and to state that, listen, if they weren't there, India wouldn't have any problems, is really obscenely foolish.
Obscenely foolish. Pretty strong words there from Surjit Bhalla. Sambit Patra, let's let you come in on that. Is this an obscenely foolish IB report, or does the BJP see merit in this?
First and foremost, as far as the BJP is concerned, we have just heard as to what the State Minister from Home had to say. He said that the report has not reached him. He has not gone through the report. But if the Indian Express and the papers are to be believed, whatever is on the papers, the leaked portion of the reports, I believe it is terribly frightening, and I believe it is alarming, because the words that they have used, that Greenpeace and the other NGOs in India are a threat to the economic security of this country. And I believe the single word should raise 1,000 bells, and we should not call anything which amounts to such a sentence as obscenely foolish. I believe IB is an institution in this country which has won its respect, and I believe they would not call something as obscenely foolish as this. Secondly, and most importantly, IB has also come on some other important aspects. They have told that the future threat from the Greenpeace is also the fact that probably they would try to tarnish the IT industry of this country in a wrong way, in the sense that in the West they would project the IT industry as if they are not handling their e-wastage in a proper manner. So bring a bad name to the IT industry. I believe that is equally alarming. When they say about economy, well, yes, they have the single line of Indian economy would have done well by 2 to 3% if they would not have been there.
Between all of us sitting on this panel here, I think Surjit Bhalla understands the economy the best. So he's asking a very legitimate question. How do they affect 2 or 3% of the GDP?
See, Nidhi, for a while, even if you put aside the economic perspective of what the IB has come out in the report, the other things have to be seen in totality, in the sense that here in our country, we have people from outside trying to influence the policy of this nation. In fact, the report, if I go by the newspapers... So you're talking about the foreign hand that the Congress once used to talk about? No, it's the same thing. I'll come to it. So we are discussing a report which is a leaked report. I have no access to the proper report. Even our minister has not said anything about the report, but still, if we go by the words that has been leaked, there is a great deal of chance that our policies are trying to be tweaked by others outside. We call it a foreign hand or call it whatever it is. They're trying to change the dynamics of energy in this country, the coal-fired power plants, the nuclear power plants. And as far as the nuclear power plants in Kudankulam were concerned, in Tamil Nadu 2 years ago, the Prime Minister himself told of the foreign hands, and 3 NGOs lost their licenses. And in fact, Mr. Narayan Swamy, the then minister in the PMO, had come out and in fact had named a Tuticorin-based church that this is the NGO which is responsible.
Is there a problem? And before I come to Medha Patkar on this, that Medha Patkar, is there a problem also, with governments, whoever is in power, that the moment there is opposition to I believe we don't have Medha with us. Let me take that to Abhishek Singhvi. That Abhishek Singhvi, as Manmohan Singh did at that time, he saw a foreign hand in the Kudankulam protests. Today, now, if there is a legitimate protest, after all, people here do have minds of their own, have brains of their own. They can protest, legitimately against a project, against an issue. Why is the foreign hand always brought in? I think that is one part of the question. Abhishek Singhvi.
I think it's very dangerous to start generalizing. There are no such generalizations like all NGOs are bad, foreign hand. One, we are all handicapped in really shooting in the dark on some partial excerpts. We don't have the report. Second, I think you need to be balanced. You have to have neither starry-eyed versions of NGOs. Many of them are in fact very suspect, I agree. But equally, to suggest at first blush that a single NGO like Greenpeace has the massive, humongous effect of 2 to 3% is actually a great compliment paid to Greenpeace by the IB. For one, Greenpeace to have had single-handedly that effect on the GDP of India is a huge compliment. I don't think that can be true, even arithmetically and really. I think the important thing here is all generalizations are untrue, including this one. You need to go into the nitty-gritty. there are, and when we did the Lokpal bill, we looked into this in some detail, there are a number of NGOs out there who violate the Foreign Contributions Act, who don't register, who use things for surreptitious means. Many of them are dukans and shops for individual aggrandizement and egos. But it has to be, and some of them do outstanding work, very good work. Now in this case, certainly, when we apply environmental standards, my view is that you have to have the golden mean. You know, as Aristotle said, each of the extremes is always a vice. The virtue lies always in the middle. So you can't go for the latest newfangled standards prevalent in a country like Sweden or Finland and just transpose it and transplant it to India,
no, but
thereby genuinely causing hurt to the economy.
Say that they're a threat
also,
to
you
India's
cannot ignore it and say that we're a poor country.
Is this IB report alarmist? That is my question. Is it absurd and alarmist?
I think what is alarming is, A, the details of the leak. IB reports by definition are not supposed to be leaked, and IB is IB. So is it an inspired leak? What is the extent of leak? Second, I think it is alarming if it ascribes such a huge effect on one organization. And I think probably at first blush, it seems to be inaccurate and way off the mark.
Okay.
But yes, if they put out actual material, I would be the first to condemn, because there are some of these organizations which apply absolutely unrealistic standards and stall progress. But I don't have the evidence yet to be able to say that 2 to 3% of GDP or millions and lakhs of crores of rupees have been stalled by this one or two organizations. I think that's a bit too far.
Okay, Medha Patkar, if you could weigh in on this IB report and you know, just to counter the, you know, to balance this out, the fact that, I mean, if you look at what the CBI told the Supreme Court earlier this year, that they estimate about 20 lakh NGOs in this country, of which they say only 2% of them have actually filed annual returns with the government. Therefore, there are concerns that authorities have raised in the past about the funding of NGOs here, how they are getting money, how they are operating. Would you acknowledge that that is also a problem, even though this IB report, many feel, is a little off the mark?
The report is absolutely perverted. Greenpeace is a small group of environmentalists who are raising the very genuine national to international issues. I am not a part of that organization, but I know how committed those environmentalist youths are, and a number of them who have even supported Narendra Modi must have the concern for environment. That is the strength of the youth of this day. And Greenpeace has always resorted to the non-violent strategies, peaceful strategies. Who talks of foreign funding? I may speak about the foreign funding, but then there is foreign funding in every sector. Not in our organization, it is in there. There is foreign funding brought into the defense. Foreign funding is there in water, in power, in every sector. Who talks about it? The mining which goes with the foreign funding and the Indian multinationals, those are the activities which are killing our natural resources, our ecosystems, which are the sources of the livelihood. So if the Greenpeace raises the issue about the IT waste, the e-waste, then what is wrong? Don't we all have to live beyond this generation?
But Medha ji, do you acknowledge the need for more transparency as well by NGOs in this country? Do you acknowledge that they need to be more transparent?
And obviously, those organizations who are going through the FCRA are being monitored by the government on the foreign funding issue. Let them show if there is anything illegal and then take action. As there is 2G scam, there is Commonwealth scam, there is Karnataka mining scam, there is builder scam, and all of that is creating a threat to the economic security of the country. And anyone, Aam Aadmi Party to the people's movements who raise the issues about the scams and scandals, if they are looked at as a threat, that is a fascist tendency of the new government, I must say.
Can I come in over here?
It was there in the past government.
You hit a raw nerve.
No, not a raw nerve. See, hit a wrong nerve, in fact.
It is a government report.
Okay, the BJP spokesperson wants to respond.
Medha, you have hit a wrong nerve. I mean, today you may be very supportive. We all respect you for what you have been doing. But ironically, Medha, you are also a part of a political organization which has been named by the Intelligence Bureau. By going by their leaks, going by whatever reports are there on the newspaper today.
But she's also been a long-standing activist on her own merit, which is why she's here, not as a member of AAP.
I respect her for her credentials.
If there is anything illegal,
let me complete.
Accept.
Medhaji, let me complete. I respect your work, but as a political scenario, what I'm saying is, since you contested election from Aam Aadmi Party, and from your party, Mr. Pankaj Singh from Madhya Pradesh has been named to have been funded in the Lok Sabha election in the IB report. So there may be a reason as to why probably you are trying to, I would not say protect Greenpeace, but trying to show that the government which has come is a fanatic one. Please modify your words. We are not fanatic ones. We are the ones which the people of the country believe will fulfill their aspirations, ma'am.
But my point is, and I think that what Medha is also trying to say...
I didn't even know that the Pankaj Singh was from Greenpeace till this moment.
Naturally, you are a party which was formed only to become Prime Minister in a single day. So most of the people did not know the others. I understand the problem.
Okay, Surjit Bhalla wants to come in. I'll come to you, Abhishek. Yes, Surjit Bhalla.
No, because I was busy with my constituency. I am not on any of the decision-making committees of the Aam Aadmi Party.
Okay, Surjit Bhalla.
So I'm not supposed to be knowing everything about the party.
Yeah, I want to make 2 points.
And if he has left Greenpeace and then joined a party, so many NGOs belong to the politicians. There are so many, all registered under the public.
Medhaji, I'll just give me a second. Give me a second. Let's just get Surjit Bhalla and I'll come back to you. Yes.
Yeah, I want to make 2 points. Both of them, if you will, are related to the knee-jerk response that we had. And I was hoping that after this election and after, if you will, last 10, 15 years, that we will start moving forwards. The 2 knee-jerk responses that I want to comment on. First is, thou shalt not criticize an institution. Now, this is something, why? Why should an institution be above criticism?
You mean the IB?
Can't we criticize the CAG? Can't we criticize the IB? Just because they are an institution, they're supposed to have done their homework, they're supposed to have done everything right? That cannot possibly be.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have scams. So therefore, political parties can be criticized, institutions should and must be criticized when they do wrong, and what the IB has done over here is wholesomely wrong. The second, if you will, knee-jerk reaction that we have, anytime we want to make a point, we say it's a foreign hand. I mean, can't we graduate? Here is our Prime Minister Modi himself, etc., asking for foreign funding, FDI, FII. We have foreigners in every portion of our economy. So do the rest of the world have foreigners in every portion of their economy. Where else in the world is there talk of a foreign hand? And then third, to single out NGOs is nothing more than a lobbyist. Maybe they are left of center, maybe some lobbyists are right of center. They all believe in advocacy. And I think that is the biggest, healthiest sign of a democracy, that you have several advocacy groups. So let's mature a little bit. This is really beyond childishness to talk about a foreign hand and to talk about 2 to 3%. You come up with some cooked up math which nobody can defend, and you believe that this should be respected. Absolutely not.
That is what I was trying to say, Sambit Patra, that everything is not a foreign hand.
No.
And this is an old Indian problem. It's not your problem. The Congress did it as well. Everything is a foreign hand.
I understand that. I'm going to answer very systematically to what my previous orator said. First and foremost, he said that every institution is open for criticism. Well, yes, in democracy, every institution is open for criticism, but you open your statement yourself by saying that you have not gone through the report, and that's the reason as to why you would not be. No one has gone through the report. That is why I would say that is why, sir, I open my statement with a caveat saying that, well, yes, whatever I read in the newspaper, this is what is a thing. But you say that the IB was wrong. I believe since you have not gone through the report, let us refrain. Sir, please. Since either of us,
the IB was right, that
yes,
based on the same principle.
I have never from the very beginning criticized neither the Greenpeace nor have I kind of praised the IB. Only thing that I was saying was, well, let's wait for the report to be out in the public, then we can discuss. We cannot say that IB was wrong outrightly, as my previous speaker was saying. Secondly, and very importantly, he's saying that even Modi invites FDIs and foreign funds. Well, inviting foreign funds, for development in the country is different from inviting NGOs to tweak into your policies. These are two extremely different things, and I believe there is no puerility when we say, there is no childishness when we say that foreign hands should not tweak our policies.
Okay, last quick words.
Sambit is very good speaker and
RSS
try to
is
dominate
also
the
an
discussions.
NGO, non-governmental
but,
organization.
Three points I want to
they
make.
are intervening and interfering.
Just one sec, yeah.
First of all, opposing coal and nukes doesn't mean that you are against the economic development of the country. Prime Minister, when Narendra Modi, when he became a Prime Minister on 26th of May, he said that by 2019, 80 million people will be provided electricity through renewable energy. If Greenpeace demanded that 300 million people in this country has no electricity and they should be provided through decentralized renewable energy, we are wrong. We are being say that opposed to the economic development. Second thing, Sambit said IT companies and Greenpeace is against the Indian companies.
I did not say supposedly doing reports are saying
but in the report also, the issue is that I was a part of that e-waste campaign. Personally, I was running that campaign. We engage with all kind of companies, Indian and global, equally, and they all participated in that process. And with that process, we come out with a legislation that the government of India has enacted in 2012.
So you are saying that by raising legitimate demands or at least legitimate points of criticism, that doesn't mean that you're trying to stall development in any way. You know, I'm completely out of time on this, but I think that this IB report really, as Surjit Bhalla says, needs to be studied much more carefully. These claims of whether it affects 2% of the economy or 3%, those need to be questioned and looked at more closely. But also whether NGOs need to be more transparent in this country. I think that is also an important point that needs to be looked into as well. Thank you very much to all of you for joining us tonight. We'll see you all again tomorrow. Do join us then. Goodbye.